Hi, and welcome to the Unfertile to Unfiltered podcast, a space where we talk honestly about infertility, motherhood, and the wild, beautiful, heartbreaking, and hilarious journey of being a woman.
We're your hosts, Simona
and Vicki,
two friends who have walked through IVF, loss, exhaustion, joy, and everything in between.
We started this podcast because we know what it feels like to search for stories that sound like yours and come up empty. We wanted to create the kind of space we needed, one where nothing is off limits and no experience is ever too messy to talk about.
You'll hear us talk about the parts no one warns you about, the hormone shots, the baby showers after miscarriage, feeling lost in motherhood, and trying to remember who you are underneath it all.
We'll also bring on guests, experts, moms, and women with stories you won't forget to help all of us feel a little more seen and a little less alone.
This is a space for honesty, for healing, and for humor, because if we don't laugh through this stuff sometimes, we might cry forever.
So grab your cup of something, coffee, wine, your third reheated tea, and settle in.
This is Unfertile to Unfiltered, and we are so glad that you're here. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is episode 6. Wow. Episode
Yes,
6. This is your host, Simona, and we have
Vicki. I'm here. I've survived.
Yay. What a busy past few days we have had, especially you, planning your daughter's birthday party.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it's been a lot. But we are here. We are here for episode 6, and in this episode, we are going to bring in talking about our kids and back to school and the back to school rush that we as moms, especially, yes, both parents, but especially moms, take on, and dealing with the kids back to school, but also juggling us working. And how to juggle that all and also focus on self-care for ourselves. So that's what we have.
I feel like this is a topic that any parent is having to deal with right now, right? Like we were just literally talking about like when your kids go back, when my daughter goes back, and like just getting prepared for it. And I don't know, like you tell me, because I hear such mixed reviews, right? I know the parents who will sit there and be like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for school to happen because I'm so done with being like a full-time parent and having to be like hands-on with my kids during the summer. And then you have the parents who are genuinely sad about their kids going back to school. So like, where do you fall, right? And I think it's a spectrum. So like, where do you fall in it?
Okay, great question. I have to say I'm in the middle. I love my kids to death, but I will say I am ready for them to go back to school, but I'm not ready for going back to school and having like summer completely over. Like it's sad to say goodbye to summer, but I'm also ready for them to get back to the routines and, not have to do things 24 hours. 24/7. But yeah, I'm in the middle, I have to say. How about you?
I would say that I definitely am in the middle, but I lean also a little bit more towards my daughter and knowing just the personality that she has. She needs the structure. She needs the structure, right? She needs to be able to have that structure of school. And I think that like the great thing about like the summer is we can sit there and be like, okay, let's have like those days that there's not a lot of structure and we're just kind of doing what we need to do. But then I see how that can really present itself in regards to certain behaviors and little meltdowns here or there, right? Because she really did, like, even though it can be emotionally exhausting for her during the school year, it's still something that I think is so important, like just that structure. So like I'm probably a
100%.
little bit more towards that way.
Yeah.
I think that like in the beginning of the summer, I'm more like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad to be done with school. Like, I wish we never had to have her go back to school, right? Even though it's preschool. But I think as we get through the summer, and because obviously, like you and I both, work, but I
Yeah.
am still working because you have off during the summers, which is really nice
Yes.
as a teacher, right?
Yes, yes, yes. And I will say, yes, teachers have off in the summer. Some work extra jobs. I'll work on my small businesses and things like that
Truth.
throughout the summer. But yes, I am able to be home with my kids. I do send them to summer camp, not full day. It was all throughout July, and they did just like a morning sports camp, and it was great. Like what you were saying, like structure
I
and
love that.
routine, they still need that. Like
Yes,
all kids thrive on structure and
totally.
routine.
Totally.
Yeah. So yeah, they did camps, just half day camps throughout July just to kind of keep that going. And then August is kind of choppy and they go back next week. So we did some vacations. So it was a good mix, good amount of downtime, but also great engagement and socializing and sports and all that. But it is nice to be able to be home and reorganize the house. That's what I use the summer for. Reorganizing, cleaning up, and any projects that I have underway. It's definitely very helpful because once the
Oh my
school
gosh.
year
No,
starts,
totally get that, right?
yeah, once the school year starts as teachers, the other side, even though we have the summers off, flip side, during the school year, we really don't have flexibility to take time off when we want to. So, the flip side. So I enjoy the summer and then it's back to the grind. Um,
So you are so much more of a pro than I am because you have had to navigate more like because your son is older than my daughter, right? And like you also and
yeah.
also your daughter is older than my daughter by even a year, right? So she's going to kindergarten, right?
Yeah, she's going to kindergarten. I can't believe it. I can't believe
Oh
it.
my
We
gosh, that's
had open
crazy.
house
That's so
last week. It's
crazy.
crazy. Sad.
Oh, but I was gonna
It's
say, so
exciting. It's
like
bittersweet.
it is, right? Like I'm sure it's a mix of all emotions, right? Like every year they're a little bit older, but you're also like, wow, look at how they're like evolving and
Yeah.
shifting and changing and growing, and it's so cool. But like you're more of a pro at this than I am because here's what I will say. I loathe and any of like my town friends or like mama friends who know me know that I loathe packing lunches
Mm-hmm.
and especially because like in public school I know that like kids can have peanut butter and certain things like that. Well, my daughter's preschool, because it's a private preschool, they cannot have peanut butter or nut products, right? And so that's really
Yeah,
challenging for me as a parent, even though, listen, to anyone whose child has a nut allergy, I totally feel for you, or any type of food allergy. I feel for you. That is not easy, right? It is just,
yeah,
it is tough. I will tell you, it is tough
for
to
sure.
not always know what to like make. And so like I just like within the first week, like I run out of like creative options for lunches. Like we are like not even in to like the full year. And by the first week, I'm like, okay, I'm done. Like I'm
Yeah.
just done. And so what are some tips, right? Because like you are a pro here. You've been doing this for longer than I have. What do you feel like people should hear? And obviously, like you also being
Okay.
a teacher, any
Yeah.
little tips that you can give our listeners, I think is so important because we're all like sometimes chickens with our heads cut off, you know?
Uh-huh. Yes. Okay. Well, I also loathe packing lunches. Everybody's lunches. I hate them. I hate packing mine. I hate packing the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Blah blah blah. But so I first pack them at night. I cannot do it in the morning. Because in the morning it's already crazy and chaotic and getting out the door with breakfast and just getting dressed
Sure.
and out the door is just enough. So for me, I find it much more beneficial to pack at night. So like at the end of the day, let's say I unpack their backpacks, get their lunch boxes on the counter, after dinner, whatever, I clean up. I have a lot of just keep it basic, keep it simple. You don't need to get creative.
Sure.
Like, I know my kids are super picky on what they eat or what they want for lunch. Literally, we
Yes.
rotate between, right? Like, and as all kids are, most kids, ham and cheese sandwiches. That's what I and chicken nuggets, turkey hot dogs. My kids don't really like to buy lunch at the cafeteria, which is fine by me because it's not always super nutritional, I will
Sure.
say that.
Sure.
Um, Usually if they buy, it's like pizza day or chicken nugget day, maybe a burger, but it's like, it's if they have, they'll do like crazy things like, I don't know, confetti or tacos or something like that. They're not really big fans. Or mac and cheese, tried that, didn't work. So anyway, when you're packing the lunches and the nut-free stuff, get super simple, easy single serve snack bags. Like Costco, winner.
Yeah.
Um, or and Amazon. Amazon. Like I love Amazon. It's so bad. I hate going to the store, but we have hip peas. Those are really good.
Love
They're made
those.
from chickpeas. They're so
Mm-hmm.
delicious, right? My kids love them. They have white cheddar, nacho, sriracha. I don't know what other flavors they have, but they love those. Skinny pop popcorn,
Yes.
pirates booty. My God, because they're starving at lunch. And I will say, like,
Yes.
your kids are going to be exhausted. We know that they are put through a lot during the school day. Like they
Yeah.
do a lot. So like pack extra snacks, pack extra a little extra in their lunchbox. Um, that's one tip I will say. Like so hippies, a skinny pop, what else? Pirates booty. There's chewy bars, but I think they might be made in um a nut facility. But they do make what is it? Oh, Made Good brand. The
Yes.
Made Good brand.
Yes.
Yes. They make
I
granola
love that
bars.
brand.
So good.
I
They're
love
also
that
very
brand.
healthy.
Well, let me
Yeah.
ask you, as it obviously as like a teacher, right? You
hmm
see these kids throughout the day, and what ages are like so people know like what ages are you often
Yeah.
working with?
Okay, so this year I'm going to be teaching third grade, but I've taught third, I've taught second, I've taught fifth. I was a reading interventionist. So third grade this year is like 9-year-olds. So 8 and 9-year-olds.
Okay.
Um,
Do
yeah,
you see like throughout the day, obviously, right? Because like none of us are in, I mean, my daughter's not even in elementary school yet, but like none of us are in the classroom, obviously, with our kids, right? Like we're
right,
not
right.
there. So as a teacher, and obviously your mom too, but as a teacher, like how do you think? I'm trying to think about how I want to ask this. How do kids do when they are eating like well or balanced? And how are they like in the classroom versus like the ones that might be struggling a little bit more with like their eating or not having as much of an
Or like healthier
interest in certain
choices.
foods or things like that. Like yeah, like what do you see?
Okay. Yeah, so you mean like compared to like a healthier option or not so healthy,
Yeah, or
right?
even just the kids that are like, I'm gonna skip snack, or I'm gonna like do certain
Oh,
things that
yeah.
like, I'm not gonna eat that right now. And like, because I know
Mm-hmm.
that like sometimes I can even like, I'll always say, I'm like, oh, when I start to feel myself crashing, I'm like, oh, I need that protein right now. Like, I need to grab
Oh,
string
yeah.
cheese, I need to grab cottage cheese, like, I need to do
Mm-hmm.
something to just get like my brain functioning, right? Because we know from psychoeducation around like our brain and just like our
Yep.
metabolic health, like if we are not fueling our brain, right, our brain is still burning through all of that glucose, right, through all of that energy that we have
Yes.
stored anyways, because it needs so much energy to function throughout the day. So like I have to imagine you see a full spectrum of like kid behaviors based on even
Oh,
if
yeah.
they're eating enough or not eating enough.
Absolutely. It just like adults, and I feel like not all adults even realize that too. Like I feel like you have to be very in tune with your body. Like I, just like you, like I know, okay, I don't feel right. I feel like I am cranky and, I'm going to crash. When was the last time I
Mm-hmm.
ate? Oh, I'm hungry. I need a snack, or it's lunchtime or whatever. Absolutely same thing. Like I know from teacher side first, and I'll talk about mom side. Teacher side, absolutely. Like, even if the kids, rarely I have an issue with kids not wanting to eat their snack. I will throw it out there. Like,
That's
all the kids want to eat their snack when it's
my
at
daughter's
school.
just the picky eater. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
No, at home, it's different. Like when they're at school, they are working so hard. Everybody else around them is having a snack. They're going to do it too. And I see that with my daughter because when my daughter is at home, she doesn't want to eat. She literally could play all day long, but then she crashes. And that's when the meltdown
Yeah.
happens. Like, but when she goes to school, she finishes everything in her snack bag and her lunchbox for the most part, like maybe minus a snack or two. But it
Okay.
because also everybody around them is doing it and they're doing a lot of brain work. They're doing a lot of activity. They're whether they have gym class or music or they're out on the playground or they're just in the classroom learning, doing a lot of instruction. Like it's exhausting. So they're going to be
Totally.
starving. Yeah, so I'd say in school, I really have an issue with kids eating snack, and if they don't, yeah, there will be a time where okay, they're, you know, not engaged as much or I can tell they're exhausted or something's up. They didn't eat, you know.
Yeah.
Especially also in the morning. Like, if I could say this too, parents, please make sure that your child has breakfast, a good breakfast before they go to school. Because usually snack time, depending on what their age is, it's like 10:30. Even the older grades, they don't have lunch until like 1. So, and like I said, like food is fuel for our bodies, for kids
Wow.
and adults. So it's very helpful. It gets
Yeah.
them ready to learn, it gets them engaged and feeling good. But I can definitely tell a difference from school and home, especially with my daughter.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Hmm.
It's amazing to me because my daughter is not a good breakfast eater. And because she's not a great breakfast eater, I always have to have, like, before she goes, like, things that are protein packed, right? So, like, we
Yeah.
love perfect bars. I don't know if you've ever seen them, but they're like the peanut butter
No,
perfect bars.
no, I have
We
not. I have to
adore
check that
them.
out.
They are, I was going to say they're, excuse me, they are 6 grams of protein. The bigger ones obviously have even more protein. I think the bigger ones, which I'll take with me to work, have like 17 grams of protein. So, and it's like
Oh,
very just like, it has like some greens powder in it. It has honey in it. It's based mostly just being peanut butter. Um, and it's delicious. It feels like I'm
that
eating
sounds
the
good.
inside of like a Reese's peanut butter cup. And I
Oh,
think that the
even better.
biggest thing for me, right? Who doesn't love those? I think what's even more important is the fact that, like, we definitely just need her to sometimes have protein because she can be so picky
Yes.
with
Uh-huh.
eating a breakfast. And I'm just like, oh, it's like the downside because I can see how our mornings can get so chaotic or
Yeah.
frazzled or easily frustrating when she doesn't eat enough in the morning.
Yeah, 100%. And protein, yeah, I'm glad you said that. That is the biggest part of their energy and all of our energy, right? Like
Yes.
I've even been trying to focus on adding in more protein into right when I wake up. But for kids too, it's hard because again, they're picky. But I am going to
Yeah.
look into those perfect bars. Um, but we also like those Stonyfield smoothies too. I don't
Oh,
know if you've
sure.
ever tried those. Yeah. Or the pouches or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, like I'll have that for both my kids. Hard-boiled eggs too for the kids. Make them meal
Oh,
prep on the
yeah.
weekend. Tyler likes those with ketchup. And um, of course, he would love to have a Taylor ham, egg, and cheese sandwich every day, but
That's such a
it's
New
always my
Jersey
husband.
thing. If you're not from
It
New
is.
Jersey, it's so. Let
I
me just tell you, when I first met my
mhm.
husband, he was like, "Do you want a Taylor ham and cheese?" And I was like, "What is
What is
that?"
that?
I know. And I was like, I mean, it's weirdly delicious, but let's just talk about the amount of like salt in that thing. It is so
Yeah.
salty.
hmm That's
Oh my
not
goodness.
that's not my favorite sandwich. I don't like it.
Mm-mm.
It actually no. I would rather have like bacon, egg, and cheese or sausage, egg, and cheese, but no.
Totally get that.
I know I
Totally get
forgot.
that.
It's a Jersey thing.
It is, it's a total Jersey thing. It's a total Jersey thing.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. But yeah, I mean, like just having a good balance of mostly protein and carbs. Like carbs are good too. Our
of
body needs
course.
carbs. Um, but just not having only carbs for the kids.
Yeah.
Like Isabella for breakfast, she'll have a smoothie and like usually like a waffle with cream cheese. Like I just fold it into a sandwich. Um,
Cream cheese on a
yeah,
waffle.
I know everybody gets I feel like it's my family thing. Like even my cousins will be like, "Yeah, we got that idea from you." And I'm like, "But you don't normally do that?" Like,
That is
no.
hysterical because you know what? My daughter could very easily eat bagels with cream cheese every single day, but I never
Yeah,
thought to put it on a waffle.
I know. I don't. I guess my mom started ever since I was a kid. We always had that. Oh,
I dig
usually it's
it.
like waffles with syrup, right? I guess.
Yeah.
But
Well, with not just with syrup, with us, like growing up, it was like butter and syrup.
oh yeah, oh yeah. There's the
Hmm.
real stuff.
That's the good stuff.
I
That's the good stuff.
mean, now they make protein waffles, protein pancakes, all this stuff, and it's great. But also, like, just be mindful. This is something I've learned over the past 4.5 years or so. I've just been more in tune with like labels, nutrition labels, and because all these brands can market their products for protein or keto or, fiber or all these things to like attract somebody, and most are good, but just look at the labels and see the ingredients like for everything. Because there's oftentimes hidden things that are not really good for you. Usually if you can't pronounce it, it's not good for you.
Sure.
And if
Sure.
there's a huge list of ingredients, it's probably a bunch of fake stuff that are added into the foods. But now I feel like the health industry has come a long way. We still got work to do, but I feel like it's come a long way in bringing more whole food products out there. And like as moms, we want healthy foods and easy foods to give our kids, like single serve foods, pack for the lunches for them. We don't want to have to go and be baking and cooking all weekend long to have a healthy, nutritious lunch and snack for the week. So
Yep.
that's why like I love
Sure.
those products, like Made Good and Perfect. I'm gonna have to check out. There's also another brand. I forget what it's called, but they make like healthier version of Pringles, which tastes just like
Oh,
Pringles.
I know. I literally
Do
know
you know
them. It's their veggie chips, right? Their veggie chip ones.
Yeah.
Yes. We
Is it
have those
called
in our
like
cupboard right
All
now.
Good? Yeah, there's cauliflower chips that are really good. Tyler was
Yeah.
just having those today. Um, Lots of great things out there that are easy to pack for your kids' lunches and for your lunch too. Like I'll pack those hip peas in my lunchbox.
Oh, they're
Um,
good. No, they're delicious.
yeah, they're so delicious.
They're so
But
delicious.
yeah,
I was gonna say, so
yeah, but
like
go ahead.
food for you. So like food, like we know some like tips. So like definitely like meal prepping, like beforehand, getting them like, their lunches settled and together
Yes.
the night before, which I'm so guilty of never doing because I'm like, she's in preschool. What do I really have to pack her? And then I'm always like, I don't give myself enough time. So like I'm actually gonna hold myself
Mm-hmm.
accountable to be more like proactive this year and
Yeah.
like be on top of that. But like for other things, like other pieces in regards to like self-care, right? Because like that's a
Yes.
huge thing, right? We were just talking about even before recording, like the idea of like self-care and do we do enough of it? Are we Um, especially when our kids start back at school and we're getting into like the
Mm-hmm.
swing of life again, where there's different sports to have to go to, different activities after
Yes.
school, on top
Yes.
of just like life in general. What is something that you feel like your kids do that's important for their self-care? Whether that's like on a daily
Mm-hmm.
basis or a weekly basis. And what do you feel like
Mm-hmm.
you do for yourself in regards to self-care, especially this time of year where you're putting both hats, right? You're like, I'm mom
Yeah.
and I'm teacher. And so what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I love that you brought in the kids' self-care time.
Mm,
So that's just as
absolutely.
important. And I feel like sometimes we forget that kids also need downtime. And maybe some people are, think otherwise. But in my opinion, um, I know there's lots of kids who are in multiple sports too,
Sure.
in addition to school. And in my opinion, and people might not agree, I find that, or I believe that one sport is just enough. Unless there's two that they absolutely love, they give their heart and soul into it and they are excited to go to practice, even if it's Monday through Thursday or whatever it is. If that's the case, that's different. But also, it wears and tears on them, especially after a long day of school. I feel sometimes that there's like a lot of competition of, oh, well, my kid's doing this sport and
Yeah,
this, blah, blah,
I
blah.
agree with that.
Like, and to each their own, but I, I feel like that is detrimental also to kids' development. Like, one sport per season, I think is great. It's good for socialization. It's good for, their physical activity and overall, development as a child. Um, but in like your day to day, especially as they get older, the workload gets more during the day and for homework in most schools. So think about they come home from school, let's say 4 o'clock, and they've got practice at 5 o'clock. You've got to get their homework done or, at least give them a snack before they go off to practice.
Yeah.
And then they come home from practice. Something about Tyler, he does baseball fall in the fall and in the spring, and then basketball throughout the winter. Yeah. So, and that's typically like our schedule. I'm rushing home from work to get home to make sure he's got usually we practices like 5:30 and we would give him dinner before he goes because you get home at like 7:30 if you're lucky from practice, and then by the time you get home you usually have to either finish homework or unpack the backpacks, make the
Yeah.
lunches, shower. So there's uh a very little amount of room for downtime. So like for them, what I like to have them do when they get off the bus is just have relax time. Like do whatever you want for like a half an hour. You want to go watch TV, you want to play some video games, you want to go on your tablet for a half an hour. Whatever it is that relaxes them after a long day of school, and give them a snack, downtime, and then homework can happen after that if they don't have sports or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, up until I don't know what this year will bring for Tyler because he's going to be in fourth grade, but up until now, he's usually homework consists of reading every night, some spelling homework, and some math homework. And that could take for average for each kid, it could take like 20 minutes, half an hour just for their homework. And usually every night they have to read for 20 minutes. So you're looking at
Okay.
40 minutes. Yeah,
Yeah.
up to 40
Yeah.
minutes. Anything more than that, that's a little too much.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I have
that's
thoughts.
difficult. Go ahead.
I have so many thoughts. I have so many thoughts.
Tell
When
me.
have I not? I have so many thoughts.
I love your thoughts. We all love
For
your
what?
thoughts.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. So here's one of them. I don't disagree with you. I think that, and I'm seeing it from definitely a different lens, right? Professionally,
Yeah.
where I see the teens who come in and their parents have them signed up for a million different activities and sports, and they'll sit there and they'll say, like, I'm struggling with anxiety, or I'm struggling with depression. I'm feeling like I'm
Mm-hmm.
not doing enough in one area or a not or in another area, right?
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like I am thriving here, but then like really struggling with my academics because I'm so focused on my sports. I do agree with you. I think it's having honest conversations with our kids
Yeah.
and even ourselves, right? Because I think that we do this as parents as well. I had used with one of my clients recently the like metaphor of like when school starts again, it's kind of like we're all stepping back on the merry-go-round, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
or the carousel, however you want to call it. People are
I
like
love your
merry-go-round, and I'm like,
metaphors.
or carousel. But I think the biggest thing is it's like if we're going around and around and around, for one thing, we're going to get dizzy, we're going to get
Yeah.
exhausted, it's going
Mm-hmm.
to feel like, tedious or monotonous at times. And when I hear friends talking about their kids and taking them to different activities, etc., sometimes they don't even sound happy. It's not like they're
Yeah.
sitting there being like, "Oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. We get to like go and like watch our kid and then but we're sitting there and it's disruptive to our dinner time and our family time and all." No, it's like it's very inconvenient. And so I agree
Yeah.
with you. I think that parents actually, along with ourselves, having this conversation of what is actually a priority, right? What is a priority? What is one or two things, that you really are passionate or you really want to explore or you really want to grow upon, but like also taking some of that stress off of the table for them and letting them be the ones to like choose and helping them like make smart decisions around it, right?
Yeah.
Because I think that kids see their friends doing things and they're like, okay, I just want to do it because, like, I know, my friend's doing it. And it's like, that's beautiful that we want our kids to be involved in social situations and continue to build upon those social skills. But at the same time, we need to
Yeah.
talk to our kids about being able to say, like, no and boundaries and really listening to like
Mm-hmm.
their bodies and their brains of
Yeah.
when they are burning out.
Yes. And having a balance. I mean, I feel like balance can is a word that can be overused, but it's true. Like you need to be able to enjoy the
Yeah,
everyday. Yeah, there is totally going to be times where things are extra crazy because the holidays are coming up or it's back to school or
sure.
you know all those there are going to be moments, but yeah, I find it's you're really pushing the limit when you are, signing up for so many things for your child on top of school, which, you know, is exhausting for kids. Like expectations, and I tell parents too, like at conference time, like there are big expectations now in each grade level. Like kindergarten expectations are really like first grade expectations now, and
Those
so on.
littles, they're so
Yes,
little.
I know they're so little. And, I feel like we need to take into account like that they're learning how to just be a human, right? And also learning their academics. They're learning to read, to write, they're doing their math. They're doing so much in school that we just have to keep that in mind. Like after school, they need that break. They need some fuel. Give them a snack or dinner. Sometimes I've heard some of my friends will even have dinner at 4:30, and because the kids come home off the bus starving, which I think is a great
Yes.
idea, have an early dinner so that way they're not having, a huge snack and then you're having a huge dinner. Um, but or dinner at 8 o'clock, right? Like
Yeah,
that's
totally.
not good either. That's not great either.
No,
But
I
of
get
course,
that.
every family has their
Sure.
different, schedules and whatnot. But yeah, just keep in mind to have a little bit of downtime for your kids. And that can be their self-care. And like they're in those sports, great. But also just I hope that they absolutely love it. It needs to be enjoyable. Like I know when I'm watching Tyler on that field, whoo, I love it so much. And I know he's having a great time with his friends and he's learning so much. Um, But I was also going to say, because you talked about too, like the balance of like on the go and dinner. I said like usually we'll have like a dinner early before we go to sports and whatnot. And then I'll also bring snacks for Isabella if she's, with me on the baseball field. And sometimes I will be honest, there's just not enough time to have a sit down meal before we get to the field. Like sometimes, hey, okay, you're having a sandwich, or let me warm up, make some mac and cheese, or whatever it is. Like I'm gonna keep it real. This is not a fancy home cooked meal all the time. Uh, you know, or
I get
I'm
that though.
making them a quick dinner and
Yeah.
I'm having a shake while I'm watching him on the field.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
it's sometimes it's not all roses and rainbows, but
Roses and
sometimes it's
rainbows.
roses and rainbows. I made it up. I am not good as you.
I love that though. That's going to be my new saying now. You know,
Roses and rainbows.
but I hear you. I don't think it always has to be, no pun intended, but a home run when it comes to certain meals, you know? There's dad jokes. We're pulling out some good mom jokes right now, let me tell you. But I think, right,
But
like that's I think a huge piece. But like, okay, so you're
yeah,
saying like, okay, kids definitely taking breaks. We both are kind of like in agreement of that. Like, even I know like when my daughter gets home and like granted she's in preschool, but when she gets home, she actually needs some time like
yeah,
to like digest the day, right? So like I'll notice
right.
that like she needs a show. I know people are gonna be like, screens.
Yes.
Listen, I'm not
Nope.
saying I am not pro screen or against screen. I am just kind of right in the middle for when we need a little bit of time to shut the brain
Mm-hmm.
down, right?
For
Um,
sure.
and I think that we try to do it in like different ways sometimes than just like TV. But I also
Yeah.
think that like it's also okay to turn on PBS Kids and
Yep.
allow her to watch a show or like two episodes of something and then us move on
Yeah.
to like playing or whatever, right? Because obviously she's very young. She does not have homework,
Yeah.
anything like that. But I think it's also important because it aids in my self-care too, right? Like let's bring it back around to like the mamas. Like
Yes.
that's
Mm-hmm.
actually, I think, a really big piece for me is like just as she's digesting the day, it gives me time to also say, what do I need to get done? Do I need to make some intake phone calls? Do I need to catch up with my sister or a friend? Do I
Right.
need to eat lunch myself or have a snack because I probably was burning both ends of the candle today? Like, I think that
Yes.
those are important things that, like, sometimes it's okay as a parent as well to say, I need a break. And if that's setting them
Mm-hmm.
up with an activity or with some screen time for a little bit or, I don't know. I think that like
Yes.
we're often overlooking how being so involved, obviously, in our children's lives every single moment of the day, even when they are at school, right? Because we never stop thinking about them or how they're doing or what they're doing. But I think there's a big piece of like, okay, how do we look out for our own emotional health and physical health in the midst of this back to school? you know, I don't want to assume that everyone's back to school is crazy, but I will say like the transition of back to school.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. And I want to say too, like when that downtime happens, like how you said, like you need a break too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also a good, I think it's very healthy for you to give your kids space, right?
Yes.
And let them use their imagination and go play in your playroom or watch your show for a little bit while you give them space. Of course, obviously, if they're not of age to be left in the other room by themselves, that's different. But
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
that's needed. That is needed. So self-care tips, really very similar to what I was saying about my kids, having downtime for yourself, but also as working moms, we don't always get to have that. Um, so it's especially after school and, you know, nighttime, like I am exhausted by the day's end after I put the kids
Of
to sleep,
course.
you know. And some nights we might watch some Netflix, or if the kids are asleep early enough, if we have the energy. But the biggest part of my day and having self-care is the morning. And I know not everybody is a morning person, and I will say I was one of those people who was a night owl, would stay up late, and I would literally wake up with just enough time to take a shower, get dressed, eat my breakfast, and get out the door to work.
That was me in high school. I was so
Yeah.
bad. I remember this so vivid. I was so bad in high school. Like I was the one where my sister would be like, "Okay, like you, Vicky, you need to get up now. You need to go take your shower. We're gonna be late for school." And I would still
Yep.
be there and be like, "No, just give me 5 more minutes. Give me." And it definitely shifted, right? Like I think definitely becoming an adult and most of the time be needing to be into an office or into like a hospital setting or whatever it was by like 8, 8:30,
Yeah.
even 9 at the latest was always like, oh, like I don't have time to do this. So I agree with you. Like morning has become my self-care time. And it's funny because during the
Yeah.
summertime, I'm probably not as strict with that because
Same.
I am like, oh, I have more flexibility to do certain things because she's home with me more. And so I can work out if she's playing with her Barbies or her toys or whatever it is,
Yeah.
because that's fine, right? Because that's like predominantly my self-care. Like I do a lot of working out. I know that's something we
Yeah.
have in common, and you're going to probably talk about that more
Yeah.
for yourself. And like working out, walking my pup with my daughter.
Yes.
I've tried to like do other things. Like, did I tell you that recently I bought like a little like, have you heard of like, I don't know what it's called, like punch threading or punch hole threading. It's like a
What?
different type of like knitting. It's like a weird kind of knitting.
Oh,
Do you know? It's
okay.
like punch art. I don't know what it is called, but anyways, those of you who are like knitters, you're probably like, Vicky, you're saying that so wrong. But I did it. I got very annoyed with it and I stopped doing it recently because I was like, this is not causing me less stress. But I realized that something that I actually liked to do back when I was actually growing up was I liked to cross stitch. And so, like, cross
Oh, I
stitching a
love
little
that.
recently was a little
Look
fun for
at
me again
you.
for self care.
Yes. Well, definitely a hobby is definitely something if you like to, do that or
Yes.
knitting or art or reading or writing, whatever it is. Yes, find time to do that. That's what I was gonna say. Like whether if you're not a morning person, you do it on your lunch break or at night. Um, to do even if it's just for 15 minutes or 5 minutes if you don't have 15 minutes. Let's be real.
Yeah.
As moms here, I get that. But like in the morning, like my hobby, and my side businesses. I love to paint. I love to create and craft. And, in the summer, that's when I usually do a lot more of that because I have more
Yeah.
time. And, I'll share more on like Etsy and stuff like that throughout the summer. So I don't do enough of it throughout the actual school year. But in the morning, I will wake up and I have to read while I sip my coffee and I have all my drinks and my
Yes.
food. And I will sit and read for like a good 15 minutes or so. And I just need to wake up in the quiet before my kids wake up, before the day gets all super crazy. Like I have to do that. Sometimes I'll journal too. It's not every day, but once in a while I'll do that too. Um, but just having that quiet. Sometimes I'll do like, how like your Apple Watch has like that, it's like a
Oh, the
meditation or like that
mindfulness
breathe
app.
in. Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll do that.
I dig that.
And if you haven't listened to episode 5, part 2 with the guided meditation with
Uh,
Vicky, I highly recommend you do that. Like, I need those moments. Sometimes you just need those reminders to just
yeah.
breathe, literally
Yes.
breathe. And
I think it's
it,
it's huge. It's huge. And it's something
hmm
that I often I practice a lot myself, right? Like I ground. Sometimes my clients see it, sometimes they don't. But I'll ground my feet, like my bare feet, right? Because like we've been rocking like, sandals and flip-flops. So like I'll ground my bare
yeah,
feet like on the floor sometimes, like whether it's in a session, mostly you know, mostly in between sessions, but like I also want to show my clients like ground your feet and I will model that. And I think that that's a huge
Yeah.
self-care piece that we take for granted a lot, right? Like even as an adult, we always have like 5 minutes. I agree with you, at least in our day. I mean, really, we have more. I'm going to challenge this a little
Yeah.
bit. Like,
Yes.
you really do have
Exactly.
more. It's about like whether you prioritize that or not. That is a
100%.
huge piece. I hear a lot of people
Yep.
say all the time, I didn't have time, I didn't have time. And I'm like, okay, so what did you do in that time instead? And they're like,
Yes.
well, honestly, like what did they do? A lot of people like just scrolled. They just scrolled and scrolled on their phones and they were like, I did some
Yeah.
Amazon shopping. I'm like, but those things will always be there. And I get it. But this is also where that time management comes into play, which is pivotal when it comes to actually engaging in healthy self-care, right? Like, what
Yes.
am I choosing to create time for versus what does my body, my soul, and my mind need me to make
Right.
time for?
Yes. Yeah, yes, I was gonna bring that up. Like everybody has the same 24 hours in their day. Nobody has more, nobody has less. And believe me, I understand that it's hard. I started slowly changing my habits about 5, 6 years ago. I mean, actually, when I was going through infertility, like I realized that it was actually when I started going to therapy. I realized I needed more time for my self care. I needed more time
Sure,
for me.
sure.
I would like John would take Tyler for to do whatever so that I could sit and read a book for a little while. I was actually reading Rachel Hollis's book, Girl Wash Your Face.
Girl,
That's a
wash your
good one.
face.
Girl.
She's great. I read that book too. It was a great
She's so
book.
great. The second one too. There's another one. I think
Yeah,
it's
she
Girl
has, I
something.
was gonna say, she has does she just have two? Maybe, maybe.
She probably has more, but yeah, she's really good. But that's one of the first personal growth books that I started with. One of the first. I mean, I've read Chrissy Metz. She has a great one. Ali Wong wrote a book.
Mhm.
Um, and and so ever since, going through infertility, that's when I started reading personal growth books for my mindset, journaling, therapy, and then the physical aspect was still going on somewhat. I was walking, but then I was running. My husband was a big runner, or started to get into running then. Um, and throughout the journey, I had ups and downs, couldn't work out in certain cycles and whatnot. But after I had my daughter, then I started really taking priority of my physical health because it was also affecting my mental health. And then I had two kids. Yeah. So I had two kids, and now I had to find time to exercise. And my daughter never slept. So like I understand how hard it is to find the time or like like you said, like make excuses. I don't have enough time. I get that. Everybody's busy. My son, it was in the pandemic. My son, I had to bring him to and from preschool. It was half days in the pandemic. Baby was crying literally all the way in the car. My daughter never slept unless she was on me. So I literally would prop her up in the little, there's a bouncer, and she was in my workout room and I was working out while she was in the bouncer. And yes, I paused those workouts multiple times
Sure,
sometimes.
sure.
And but I got through it, and and slowly but surely, like, it helped me to get healthier, it helped me to lose a lot of weight, and it helped me to feel better. And I know we know all of this. Many of us already know this, right? What we got to do, but it's the action that is really, really hard. And I'll tell you, the hardest part is just starting. And it might not look the same every day. It did not in the beginning for me, but now I'm in the habit of every morning I wake up, I'll, for like a half an hour, I'll read, I'll journal, I'll sit in the quiet, and then I'll go get my workout in as my kids are waking up. but it's like I also have a balance with my husband. Like while I'm doing all of that and working out, my husband is getting them breakfast before he leaves for work. So it's a kind of, we balance each other out. We take on
It's a
what
partnership.
we have to do. Yeah, it's a partnership. So, and then he leaves for work, and then I make sure everybody's getting their breakfast and everybody's dressed while I go get myself ready while they're eating breakfast, a shower, whatever, and then I make my breakfast. But some days are absolutely rushed. Some days I sleep through my alarm, and I really have to hustle. And it might look like my workout might be just a quick 15-minute jog on the treadmill or bike ride on my bike, instead of, my half-hour workout that I had planned. You just have to adjust. But each day I'm moving my body because I know it makes me feel better. Um, so whether it's, yeah, go ahead.
No, no, no. I was gonna say, like, it's funny that you say that and you're like, oh, like sometimes like, I'll sleep through my alarm. And it's like recently, I don't know about you guys in New Jersey there, but I don't know what that accent was, guys. I actually don't know what that accent was. That was not good. I don't know what that was. But I think that was my Jersey interpretation. It was not that great though. But recently here in Connecticut, we've been having some really lovely cool weather. And so what I notice about
Yes,
my body is my body does not like waking up in the mornings when it is nice, cool weather because these are the times that I sleep the deepest
better,
and
yeah.
the best, right? And so like
Hmm.
usually my body's like up and go and let's get this going and my body was like, can we just sleep? And I think that that's like really important too. Like self-care is not always
Yeah,
sticking to the same thing every time. It's really meeting your body or your soul or your mind, however you want to kind of look at it as
yeah.
where it needs to be in that moment, right? And so like my
Hmm.
body is just clearly probably been running on such little sleep for like years now that like when it's like, nope, I need us to sleep more, I'm like, oh, I need to listen to that because if I don't, I'm going to crash or I'm going to be angry or I'm not going to have the energy to fully be present and engage anyways. And not that I'm always fully present and engaged even when I have the energy. So I think
Yeah,
that that's like so important for people to hear too is that like, yes, there are some people who are like, I need that structure every single morning. And then there's also those times to say, but if I don't, I'm still okay. And
yeah.
I'm still giving my body and my brain exactly what they need.
Yes. And I'm glad you brought that point up too, because you absolutely have to listen to your body. Like I have some days where, like on the weekends, like even just what's today? Oh, even just the other day, I didn't even hear my alarm. I
Mm.
slept through it and I woke up, I think it was like 7:30. And normally I'm up by like 6:30. And I'm like, oh my God, my body clearly needed extra sleep. And
Totally.
like, that's okay. Like that's okay. Or if I'm feeling super sore or exhausted and I had, I don't know, some hit workout plan, I'm like, no, I cannot do that today. I'm going to foam roll. I'm going to stretch and I'm going to call it a day. Or I'll go outside for a walk instead. Like you absolutely have to listen to your body, um and take it day by day for sure. It's because every person is different. um but like that movement is just whether it's stretching or going for an outdoor walk and getting fresh air, whatever it may be. I feel like it just totally changes your mood too, um,
Yes.
afterwards too. But like sleep is super, super important too. I was gonna say as well, like especially as we get older. Like I don't know, my mom can stay up until like midnight, 1 o'clock every night, go to bed, and then she's up at like, I don't know, 6:30. I cannot do that.
Oh my gosh,
I
am I your
am ready for
mother?
bed by like 9.
Mother?
Vicky,
Did
don't
you
tell me
just
you're staying up
describe me?
that late every night.
You know what? Listen, I'm not staying up until like 1:30, but can I tell you, I am totally guilty of finding a good show and then being like, oh, this is like my time to now like watch it, right? And so
Yes.
like listen, I
Mm-hmm.
really do try to like shut
I
it
get
down by
that.
like, and I'm notorious, and it's so bad for like totally falling asleep while I'm watching something. It's like the best sleep I
Same.
get. Like being on the couch watching a show, I get the
I
best, like I call
know.
them my pre-sleep naps. Like they are, it's like the appetizer to my like sleep for the rest of the night. But I
Yes.
do think that like, yes, I totally, that is the running joke between me and my husband, even though I don't think it's a joke. I think he says it to me seriously and kind of obnoxiously, but he's like, you need no sleep. You don't need any sleep. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I do need sleep, but like, I don't probably need as much sleep as you. For those of you, I don't
Yeah.
know, you probably can't hear it, but right now we're technically in the same room, and he's over on the couch and he's sleeping and he's snoring up a storm. And like, listen, like the man can fall asleep anywhere. If you hear him, I apologize, but
Mm-hmm.
listen, this is real life here.
That's hilarious. I could fall asleep anywhere if I am that tired. Even if I am in the middle of a concert, if I'm that tired, bye, I'm asleep.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
no joke. Pretty sure I did that one time.
Simona, put your
But
90-year-old self away. Put
there
your
was probably
90-year-old self
other
to
things
sleep.
involved. Oh, but I am guilty of sleeping on the couch after a good show. Oh yeah. I could fall asleep on the couch all
Oh
the time. My mom does the
yeah.
same thing all the time. John, no. If he's tired, he's going to bed. He will not fall asleep on the
Such
couch.
good
But
self-restraint.
I was gonna say too, like that is also self-care. If that's what you enjoy, watching some Netflix and chill, that is definitely a form of self-care. I mean, not like my number one choice, but yes, we need that. We need that.
Girl,
I
I
usually,
think Netflix
well,
and chill means something else these days. I don't think it means the same thing anymore.
okay, seriously, what the heck does it
Yes.
mean? Oh my God.
Girl, I think Netflix
Okay,
and chill means like booty booty. So like I'm just saying, I don't think,
I swear to
I mean,
God,
maybe
now I
that is, I
really
mean, listen,
feel
that is
old.
good self-care too, let's be real. So I mean,
Yes,
that's
yes,
a
it is.
different episode. Keep it clean,
That's
people.
just
Keep it
different.
clean.
Oh my God.
Gosh,
But yes,
I
I love
think
me
like,
some Netflix.
I mean, who doesn't? But I was gonna say, like, I think that that's just a big thing. I think ultimately, right, like the focus as we all get ready is just going to be about like how can you incorporate for your
Yes.
kids, for yourself, a little bit more just self-care, right? Everyday
Mm-hmm.
self-care. And like we can go on and on and on
Yeah.
with this topic, and we will come back to it. I know we will come back to it
Yeah.
as like our lives continue to evolve, and you are taking the deep dive back into your school year. I always say my
Oh,
teacher friends
yes.
just disappear when they start working. They just
Yeah.
disappear. So
Yeah, I
luckily,
apologize. It's true.
because Simona's done this podcast with me, I at least get a guarantee that I'll see her once a week.
It does get my conversations in. Like, I swear, if we didn't have this going, I don't know, it might be months
Oh,
before you would see me. No, I'm just kidding.
she's like, I actually don't know if we'd be friends, but good to
No,
know.
stop it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so let me ask you, even with our crazy lives recently, what have been your high and your low from the week?
Okay, so highs, definitely jamming out to K-pop Demon Hunters with my daughter. That has literally
Oh my
taken over everywhere.
gosh. You know
I
what?
am
And
not kidding.
I can't judge it. I can't judge it because I said to you before, I haven't watched it. It kind of weirds me
You
out.
have
I
to.
don't know why. I hear Demon Hunter and I was like, what is Netflix coming up with now? Like, what
Okay,
is it coming up with? But people are like, the demons aren't scary. And as you all
no,
know
they're
from like
actually funny.
previous episodes, I don't mess with stuff. So like, I just,
This is very true. It does make you, it's really good though. You have to watch it.
I'm going to
Like,
watch
and
it
it's
without my
more so,
daughter.
yeah, yes, I would do that. I would do that. I don't think that my daughter is literally obsessed, but I think she's purely into, she loves the characters, all of them, but it's the music, it's the dancing, it's constant, and it's just so good.
I love
Like,
that.
I, I added all those songs to my running playlist. I'm not kidding. So that
Okay,
would be
now
my
wait, really
high.
quickly. If you had to
Yeah.
be one of the characters, who would you be?
Oh, Rumi, hands down. Rumi. I mean, but Mira is really, really awesome. I feel like past Simona would be wait, Mira, what's her another name? Oh my God, what's the last one? There's Mira, there's Rumi. I can't even think of the
Is
third
it
one. She's got
Huntress?
buns.
No.
Huntrix is the name of the group. So Huntrix is what the three girls are
Oh,
called.
see, this is what I'm
Oh my
like. I'm
God.
so not cool.
It's gonna kill me now that I don't know her. But past Simona would be the third character that I can't think of her name because
Oh,
she's an
cool,
over
cool.
pleaser. But it's amazing. I'm not kidding. It's really good. And the Saja boys are the boys, the boy band.
Oh my
They are the
gosh. I just want to tell
they
you
are the
guys that like
demons.
Simona and her daughter are always like into whatever's like trending. Like, I don't even think you guys try to be like, it just kind of happens that you're like,
It just happens.
and we're into this now. And like, because I remember your daughter was so into Barbie, the movie,
Oh
and she was
yes.
like obsessed with it. And I remember
Yes.
being like, oh my gosh, like I was like, she's so much cooler than I am. Like, I'm definitely
Oh,
behind on
stop.
certain things. So, okay, so that was your
So
high.
funny.
What was
Yes.
your low?
Okay. My low, I mean, it's like not a super low. It's kind of a bittersweet low. Going back to school and getting my classroom
Oh
ready and
yeah.
summer's over, honestly. I mean, I am excited to have my students, but it's like, oh, and it's a lot of work putting a classroom back
Of
together.
course.
But that would be my low. I mean, yeah, bittersweet low. Bittersweet. Summer's over. Back to the grind. Here we go.
Yeah.
How about you?
Okay, so my high would be that I successfully planned and like executed my daughter's birthday party. Woo woo. Woo
Yay!
woo.
Woo! And it sounded awesome.
It was a lot of fun. And the low that was connected to that was, oh my gosh, how my body hurt today. The day after, I literally was like, this is insane. I think that what this shows me is I just need to stretch and foam roll
Yes.
a lot more because really, like, it was rough today. But like,
Yeah,
honestly, that's not the worst lows we could ever have. So that is a win for the
that's
week.
right. That is right.
Well,
What a week it has been.
I mean, I wish all of you mamas and any of our listeners a very
Yes.
successful and calm back to school for you and your
Yes,
kiddos.
absolutely. And even if you just take 5 minutes in your day for yourself, that is a win. That is a win.
Absolutely.
And thank you for being here. If you need a 5 or 10 minute break to yourself, go to episode 5, part
Mhm.
2. Do that guided meditation with Vicki.
I got you,
Um,
people. I got you.
she got you. And don't forget, check out the show notes. Please leave us a review. Head to our Instagram handles and follow along with us. We love to see you there and have you with us. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.